Hey everybody, Bro here. Welcome back to the ice edition of the Bro Roadshow. This is where we get into a deep dive about ice. It's all about ice. We might talk about stuff currently for a few seconds, but it is ice time. It's starting to appear on the shore. It's the wind's blowing it off though right away. And honestly, I just finished a guide trip yesterday, and I might have one Friday here in a boat. But you got to keep the lights on. I hope everybody had a great open water season and you caught a lot of fish, big fish. Really got out and enjoyed it with your family. And I hope you have that big buck in your sights, or you've already shot one in Minnesota. This rifle season's going. Of course, bow season started a long time ago. In Wisconsin, it's coming up. I've got the Blaze Orange Hunt Monkey gloves here just to kind of celebrate it, and it's kind of a holiday in this neck of the woods. Before I go any further, I want to thank Chesterburg Toyota for sponsoring the on-air broadcast of the Bro Roadshow. Chesterburg Toyota is a state-of-the-art car facility. You can get beautiful, brand-new Toyota trucks and other used cars. They have a state-of-the-art repair shop, body shop. It's a beautiful place. Go in there and say hi to the gang. Brian and the gang are there. They got coffee. They got couches. I stop in there all the time just to wake up a little bit. And of course, my driveway looks like their car lot, but stop in there. They're really great people, and they will give you a good deal on a new or used car, Chesterburg Toyota. And then Timberline Sports up there in Black Duck, Timberline Sports is a convenience shop that has, you can get a pizza, you can buy a gun, you can buy ammo, you can buy open water fishing tackle, ice fish. I mean, you go there, the stuff is up the walls. It has a lot of detail. Every little kind of lure you'd ever want, and some secret ones too that I get there. So stop in at Timberline Sports Center. It's on your way if you're going to Red Lake, Lake of the Woods. It's on 71, just north of Bemidji, Black Duck, Minnesota. Carl's there. Say hi to Carl and the gang, and you're going to love that place. So without any more delays here, let's bring on Sam Larson. He's my co-host tonight, and actually kind of a guest, and we'll get into that later. Sam, what's the word, man? What's going on?
Not too much. It's going good. The temps dropped this week a little. I saw a bunch of ponds are freezing over, and I'm gearing up for ice here. I'm excited for it.
Oh, I tell you what, I just did a little tease earlier today on a little lake in the area, and there was ice piled up on the shore. Your shallower bodies of water are always the ones that freeze first. And this ice must have been out there a little ways because it was piled up. The wind blew it off. But, water temperatures and I can say the name of the lake. If you know where I guide, then it's one of those three big lakes. But anyway, water temperature, 39 degrees. And in the deeper parts, 43. So, it's not bad. I mean, it could happen overnight. All we need is to get down in those low 30s, and it's just magical. And then no wind. The wind has been crazy this year, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has been blowing. It seems like more and more every year. So
absolutely. Before we get into the deep dive on ice, you had a chance to get out and do a little deer hunting yourself, and you did it with a bow. Let's do a little grip and grin on this thing.
Yeah. So lucky enough to get a nice buck. I always tell people the property where I hunt, I don't see a lot of deer, but usually a decent one walks by me each year. And I was lucky enough on my second sit, this guy came cruising by. So good shot on him and died quick. And it was a really fun hunt. So he was fighting with another one just shortly before I shot him. So it was very exciting. Not just your quick come, shoot, and go like they usually are. This one, he was actually hanging around for a little bit. So.
And photo by Mandy Larson. Yep. Really great photo. And hey, everybody, I'm normally looking at a different place to say hi to y'all. Hey, Lauren, good to see you here. Walleyes Unlimited, and John, and all you guys, thanks for joining us. It's a lot of fun, and we want to get revved up. But you got to think ahead because ice, I don't think it's going to be that far. It's things are kind of a little bit behind, but it's going to fall right in normal place. And the shallow stuff freezing. Red's always locking up, but that's a big lake. So I like to go start on smaller stuff. And, there's different elevations here in Minnesota. And look at South Dakota has higher elevations when you get towards the Black Hills. And they're already ice fishing in Colorado. it's a little bit of hike up to where they're going. But what would you say, Sam, talking about early ice, what kind of preparation would you do? Let's kind of go on that for a little bit.
I think the biggest thing for me early ice is making sure all my essentials are ready to go. And then as far as some of the unessentials, I like to kind of bring those in as the season goes on. So make sure my house heater, auger, couple rods, couple tackle is ready to go. And then that's when I get cute of, okay, making sure I have, this tackle and that tackle and tip ups and iFish Pros, all that stuff. So sprinkling that in as they go, but being sure you have all the essentials. Because if you spend a bunch of time and quick stress to get everything ready together and you get out on the ice and you forgot your auger, you're not going to be able to use any of it. So making sure the essentials are good, keeping it simple, just focusing on fishing and having fun. That's my priority first couple trips of the year for sure.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And thanks for joining us, Coots Lures and Mike. Good to see you here tonight. I always like to have my electronics in order. And the cool thing about now is modern technology. I'm telling you, it's crazy. I mean, am I going to send my drone with your drone and then they'll tell us how their day went eventually? I'm telling you, It's crazy. I could put everything on my phone. I can look ahead on One Boat Network and I could look around. I could mark spots, then Bluetooth it to my Humminbird Explorer.
Yep.
So literally, you are reading. A map is like a book. You're reading it, and everything unfolds, and then you put it on the spot. Red for I got to hit the spot. Green for like, yeah, I might hit it if nothing else. Yellow is like maybe, which means probably not. But you mark it all and don't give yourself too much to hit. And then shallow, whatever is close to where you're going, because we're on foot and I love it. And Sam and I go up to Red Lake and some of that stuff, and we walk out there, a mile and a half sometimes, because you just try it. You fish here a little bit. We're not there to do a big sweat marathon, but go out there, you drill holes and stop and fish. And surprising how close we get some of them walleyes up on Red Lake there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think last year I didn't go with you, but I went with some other guys, and I think we actually walked out too far for the get-go. we moved in closer as we went, and that's where the fish seemed to be biting. So
when I'm getting ready for ice, I like to make sure I have all my spots all set up, and I've got this Fish Armor shuttle. I love this thing, and there's a new one I'm going to be using this year. It's called the Fish Armor Light. These are rotomolded. These things are indestructible, and I've got my Humminbird. My Explorer is still in my boat because I might have a trip here coming up. And then here is the Pro Pole down rod by this is actually Fish Armor. This is beefy. This ain't gonna bend. This is super solid. Keep it from going through the ice. And that's my down rod when I'm using my Mega Live 2, which has been fantastic. You don't need it extended out, but this will go 60 inches. And this just snaps onto your boat, goes to the ice. So
we want good ice. I don't know if we want that much ice.
No, we don't want that much ice. I can't stand it when I have to use super long poles, and then you're drilling out holes every day. It's crazy, but
I'd rather have that than some of the ice the last few years, though. So we'll see.
It's not hard. Well, and if you want to take your electronics off your boat, or you're going to get an Explorer, a Humminbird Explorer won against all the other brands at ICAST and this year. So with good reason, the Bluetooth capabilities and everything it's got is amazing. But make sure to stop at Razor Augers. These things are so light, and I've got the ultralight one here that I like to use early ice, and I have it on a DeWalt drill. The Milwaukee's drill good. The DeWalt, I have, as far as it goes, I just like this because the handle locks in a big way right here. I see people drilling without them, and you're going to find out how many bones and muscles and stuff are in your wrist if you get caught on the ice. A drill is super powerful, but light and fast. And the Razor augers are probably the most cost-effective augers out there. Absolutely. And they can't keep them in stock. They're super. If you go to a show, look what's going out the door at these ice fishing shows. It's Razor 10-1 over any other auger. So you better go check out why that's happening. But and then I've got all my tackle laid out here. We're talking line. What line are you gonna go with here early ice, Sam?
I've been doing a lot of 6-pound for walleyes and 4-pound for panfish, and that way, if I have to use rods for both, they kind of cross over a little bit. But that's where I've been the last few years.
Yeah, I gotta say, and going to shows is great because I go there and I'm looking for new stuff, and I found Sunline. This is a long time ago. I did this when I was in Michigan. I was at the Novi show, and they had Sunline hanging there in the peg, this fluoro ice. And I stopped using 1 and 2 pound tests a long time ago because you go to flip up a crappie or bluegill perch and your line snaps. This stuff is incredibly strong. And that 1 pound test, you better tie it in some bright light. It's really, really thin. I mean, I'm using cheaters for that stuff. But so when you get on a tough bite, because not every bite is easy, they have it down to 1 pound and 2, 3 on up, and you can get Sniper is a big bulk spool that you can use in open water, but I use that on my, I got a bunch of rods, and I use that on my guide rods. And good line makes or breaks you. We're fishing vertical. We're not casting, so you don't have to fill the reel to the end. Sometimes if I'm going to use the rods and reels or the reels off the rods in open water, then I'll fill them a little bit more. But like here, I'll use. How about you? Do you use swivels, Sam?
I sometimes. With spoons I try to, but I don't always. Again, going back to keeping it simple and being prepared, those always seem to be little things that fall out of my tackle box year after year, and it might be until a second or third trip till I get them back in there. But I try to, especially with spoons.
We have a prize pack, Sam, tonight. It is absolutely, everybody get ready. We're gonna have a good tackle box. So what I'm gonna let you talk about what are we giving away.
I don't. What are we giving away? I didn't. Brooke, I didn't know.
It's a Northland prize pack, ice fishing. It's the Bro kit, ready for early ice, and a Northland hat. So when you're out there, you look good. You're a pro. This thing rocks. And look at those lures. You got,
they got the tungsten bobber jig in there.
Absolutely, that's pretty cool. Everything in there is cool. The tungsten slim spoon, the tungsten buckshot, twitch and puppet. All these different spoons, and of course the thumper spoon. You're set for everything you're gonna do. And then some of those panfish tungsten mud bug, and the mud bug's been around for many years. That's part of my design. Gosh, that's been like probably 15 years. I don't know. I mean, a long time ago, but now because of you, Sam, you made it tungsten. So there's the prize pack. We're going to give it away at the end of the show, and we're going to give away a Razor auger. This is a Scout auger. I want to thank Razor for doing this. They just make the best. But the Scout auger, 4-inch. That's what you're getting. You're not getting, can I get this or this? No, it's a 4-inch auger, and this is what they use to search and drill holes early ice. But I've caught northerns up to 32 inches and pulled through that hole. I've caught walleyes. Bass, you might have trouble, but a 4-inch auger is awesome for panfish, awesome for your transducer. You got little kids, their boots can't go down that hole. So kind of a cool little size. And you
like your small holes, and you've always shown me that you can pull big fish out of them, because when you pop the holes first, you're always I've pulled a lot of big walleyes out of 6-inch holes fishing with you.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? It lets less light down.
No.
All you have to do is see a real ice fishing tournament or the Olympics. Look at the little holes they use. They're way out here. They're not just going out there to, sit, crack a beer open and put their feet up. This is hardcore stuff. And they'll use those little tiny holes. They want 2-inch augers so they could drop a camera down or just their transducers down. And because they don't want to leave a bunch of big holes in their secret spots. But for looking and searching, it's great, quick to measure and do it. So these search augers, 4-inch auger.
And they're light and less slush. And I used to be a big 8-inch all the time, no matter what guy. But as I got to know Nick and whatnot, I got some of the different sizes. And now, I'm definitely pulling out the right auger for the opportunity. Just even, drill batteries, drilling going to a 6-inch or a smaller hole, you can get a ton more holes out of your battery. So there's definitely advantages to having multiple sizes.
Well, in big resorts like Lake of the Woods, Red Lake, Mille Lacs, even in lakes out west, down south, even Winnebago, not everybody's going to run around with a big 8-inch auger to check the ice. They're going to use a little auger because they're only drilling. They're not fishing. But I like to see what you can pull through, and it's surprising how big a bass and everything you pull through 6. But there are a lot of people that bring 1 or 2 different auger bits. And also like and share the show and comment, and that gets you into win, and it's totally random. So keep doing it, and that's how it works. And Sam and I don't pick. So we have an algorithm called Brooke that picks, and she'll take care of that. But, you just unscrew the chuck, pop the other bit in there, and go. And so Razor has the Ultra bit, which has flighting up taller for thick ice, and this one is a shorter one. This is their ultralight. So that's it right there. I'm telling you, you can put all this down in here so it's ultra short, or any way you want to do it. If you're 4 or 5 feet tall, that you don't need to have that great big auger. But anyway, so augers are super important, and ice fishing is not an expensive sport. Wouldn't you say, Sam? How much money you need to even start?
That's the cool thing about ice fishing is I feel, that's the great thing about all fishing is you can do it inexpensive or as expensive as you want. But I do feel like ice fishing, you can really be on the same level playing field, no matter if you have a few $100s worth of gear to a few tens of thousands of dollars worth of gear. It's definitely a very accessible sport.
It is. Take your kids, bucket, everybody out there that's super avid at ice fishing, what you would use and what you need. If you got a neighbor or someone just starting, bucket, dress warm, and the spirit to go, chisel, or get a Razor auger and use a power tool from your garage. And it's not about an elitist thing at that point. You just want to go fishing. The rod, St. Croix rod combo for the ice, they have combos all over the place. And now I just got this in. St. Croix has many retired combos. This is for open water, but think ahead to Christmas. Retired combos on sale this week and next week, limited supply. So they have a sale on retired combos. So get on it. Check it out at St. Croix. But the important thing is warmth. You got kids with you, make sure that their feet are warm. These are Fish Monkey wool socks, and the wool is made and spun in America here. And Fish Monkey, cool company. They have everything from sun gloves or in face masks, and I just got to show you. Besides the ones I showed you earlier,
someone was asking what kind of gloves do you like for ice fishing?
Oh, you know what? Yetis. I helped design the Yetis, but I love these mitts here. These have Sherpa in them, and Sherpa's so soft. It's like, wow, I love it. And when you're out there all day, I'm kind of an outside kind of bucket guy. Sam, do you ever see me inside?
Not unless we drag you in there for a photo or something.
If I'm waiting, and we're not fishing or we're getting ready to do some kind of thing, maybe I'll be inside to kick away, in a house or something. But I'm an outside guy. I like to rove around. I like, fish, sit on my knees, fish on a bucket. But here's some cool gloves. PVC grip, Nightcrawler. It's cool stuff. Super warm. And the nice thing about these is the fingers go back so you could actually tie that 1 pound test. And some really cool stuff from an advanced company there. And let's get to lures here. The Tungsten Crappie King. Now that was a phenomenal jig for Red Lake because those crappies are big and they'll pound something like that. Just put a wax worm or a piece of plastic up there. On other lakes, we had to size it down a little bit. Here's the Tungsten mud bug, like you would see in that kit. I got it tied up here with a loop knot. Tying a loop knot's kind of important to get that action of the jig. So look up loop knot, and that's what it is. And I have loop knots anytime I put on a jig. What do you think, Sam?
See, that's one thing that I haven't got into, but I can attest for that. That you almost always have loop knots on jigs, spoons. I'll always have loop knots on, but I haven't messed around with it a whole lot yet. I still like just tying stuff on straight. With the spoon, it doesn't matter as much because a lot of times you have a split ring or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I can definitely see where it pays off for the panfish jigs.
Well, here's the thing here. This is the twitching puppet. Look at the detail in this thing. What I like about it, when you got fish that you can't just rip it. I see people ripping. I tell my clients, sometimes during cold fronts, you got to settle down. Even early ice, the water is so clear. It's more of a lift and drop. But that twitching puppet moves forward really easy, and it looks like a small fry hatched. But I love the detail. And these things are so tiny. But you put a loop knot on that, and it allows it to really fly around. Love it. And there's some little bigger ones here. There's a perch pattern here. Now, I have a swivel on this for a reason. I fish on lakes sometimes that have a lot of pike, and that little swivel keeps us coming back up the hole without getting bit off by a pike.
You that little extra leader.
Yeah, I'll turn it upside down. I'll show you just that little bit. When they're hooked on there, sometimes that saves your lure.
Yep.
Does it stop fish from biting? Well, not when you're fishing perch. Perch, they're just like, they just come in like a predator and just pound it. And that's one of the reasons people love fishing perch. But some of the new things this year, twitch and puppet. And here's one of my favorites. Love this. That's a 4-H spoon tungsten. But look at that, everybody. It's concave. So it tumbles. It tumbles and it's tungsten, so you can fish this in deep water. Love that stuff. And then
did you put the single hook on that one, or is that how they came out with?
You noticed? That's one of my secrets. Okay, I'll bring it back up. I thought I could slip that by you. I love using a Siwash hook. Now, if you'll see this, that's a Gamakatsu Siwash hook. I'll stop it from moving. It's a single hook that comes with an open eye. And so you take your treble off, and then you put this on and crimp it shut where the needle nose and just double check it. And what I like about that, I could T-bone a minnow and jig it with a minnow, because last year, the big perch we were getting, we had a lot of big, beautiful perch. They didn't want waxies. They didn't want a minnow head. They wanted a whole minnow T-bone, but they wanted to be drawn in by the spoon. So we were T-boning them on that with the Siwash hook. And what I found, they're easier to unhook. Kind of don't like taking a perch and ripping them off. You mutilate their face. Every single tiny perch you catch in my neck of the woods here gets big if a pike don't eat them. So treat it like a future crop. Perch are the corn of ice fishing. And if you keep ripping them, I caught some perch last year, late ice. Their mouths are all mutilated, and they're still alive. So take care of the future there. And a single hook is easier to take them off. And I actually put a few out here just to kind of show you. Even on the thumper spoon, I got the Gamakatsu hook. I love that little. It's got like a pierced nose right there. Not a pierced. It's on a. It's a little flicker blade. I love it. That's a great idea, because perch will come in and they go right up and eat it when they see that. You could use it back to back with someone else's spoon. Compare. They will eat that with that little blade. But that single hook, here's another thing about it. One of the reasons I like to do it is you could put plastics on so much easier. If I can find it here. Well, I don't have it. Oh, here it is. It's already tied on. I'm ready to go ice fishing. So there's a Brobug spoon with a single hook Siwash hook. And I've got plastic. I got to hold it still because, cameras are.
Yeah.
So there you go.
It looks like a trowel. It's moving so fast. There, I can see it.
Yeah, no, if you look at that, you recognize that plastic.
Mm-hmm.
So on there, that was phenomenal for bluegills and perch. And actually, we got a picture there. Brooke, I sent some perch or bluegills. Heather and I were out fishing using the Siwash hooks on the tungsten 4-H spoons and the Brobug spoon. There's a tungsten 4-H spoon, and there's the single Siwash hook, and that's a great perch pattern. If you're going to be T-boning a minnow, and someone said you're going to give me a third less the chance by taking the treble hook off, that's not how we think. When you hook them with that one hook, you got them. Plus, you don't hook on the ice coming up. So single hooks are really, really awesome. And last year I had a blast using them. You can put more bait on the hook. And then we'll show you some bluegills here and other fish that we caught using the Siwash hook. There's Heather with a big slab. And what she's doing, she's got plastics on there and waxworms and a big bluegills in a mouthful. You can see on the ice there's a razor puck like this and keeps your bait from freezing. And they invented that insulated puck.
Make sure to empty them out. I had to go through a couple this summer and forgot to empty them out. Had them hose them out and leave them outside for a few days.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's a perch on there. Easier to unhook.
I know that spot.
Yeah, you might. I'm sure you do. Is it your new favorite spot now?
It might have to be.
Well, I got to say, big perch like that are fun because it's like catching walleyes. Walleyes, you get a 17-inch walleye, you get a 13, almost 14-inch perch. The walleye's a little bit bigger, but that perch is something to behold, and they do exist. And typically, if you go over the decades, a big perch in my neck of the woods used to be 13 and a half. Mouth closed, tail pinch, very, very fussy with the measurements. For years and years and years, never seen a 14. Now, on all the lakes I fish, there's 14s, and some of them have 16-inch perch. So
isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. So now these exist, the Great Lakes. Oh yeah, and they're starting to get them in Green Bay. They're coming back, and of course you get them in Cascade, out in Idaho, in Lake of the Woods. Mille Lacs is exploding with perch. Got incredible pressure last year, but it was exploding. But the thing is, they didn't really exist on these interior lakes here in northern Minnesota, but now they do. And it's probably due to, we can't say for sure, but it's got to be the rusty crayfish. Every lake that has rusty crayfish has really big perch, and everything eats them. And they get giant, like a little lobster, but rusty crayfish are real prolific. And the ones that the perch are eating, they're no bigger than some of these spoons I'm holding up here, just like that. And they're full of them. They'll have 11, 12 rusty perch. So if you got that, so you take this buckshot and you match the hatch. That's a really cool, that's kind of a rusty crayfish color. It's gold, it's red, and that's been fantastic. But little flicker blades on small spoons make a difference too. I'll see if I can show it to you here. Really cool. Draws attention, brings the fish in. So plastics or no plastics, how are you going to start out this early ice?
Well, I think you got to have. I've come to the realization you got to have both. If I can catch them on plastics, panfish, I will usually stay there. If I got to use live bait, have it with. But I always try to have both. But I feel like, I don't know, seems like most of the time now you can get them to go on plastics versus live bait. Walleyes always live bait and a spoon for starters for me.
Walleyes, they want that little bit of blood in the water, that smell, and I'm going to try plastics early ice right now. Actually, yesterday on the guide trip, I had minnows. I scraped what bait I could find around here, and Carl's always got bait over there at Timberline Sports, but I had a hodgepodge of whatever I had left over, kept them alive. We never used a minnow. Every walleye we caught was on plastics, and the water temperature was 39 to 43, depending on where we were, and every one of them hit plastics. We had many times in a day just stop jigging for a second, and the walleye picked it up off the bottom. Or right when you cast, it fell down, and your first reel, there's a walleye on there. So I don't know. This is the fall bite, and the fall bite continues under the ice. So I can't wait to see if I could trigger them using some of the same methods. But remember, we're fishing straight up and down. That's why we use fluorocarbon straight up and down. Can't wait to get my Humminbird Explorer out there, and I'm bringing a lot of spots to it, and I'm going to keep a close eye on it because I'm going to have all my secret spots on it. But that Humminbird Explorer is pretty amazing. And drop
Someone
that.
asked at the beginning of the show if for walleyes, do you like early ice or wait till things settle down mid-season?
Well, I like walleyes anytime, and we probably fish perch and crappies the most, and bluegills. I'm selfish on those. I take myself for those because they're kind of a fleeting resource. They're really great big ones, and I don't keep the big ones anyway. But basically early ice is it's the mad race in this area. All the people who live for ice fishing, they race each other to get to these spots. When they get to red, they want to go hit this or this on Leech, on Winnie. Later on, when Walker Bay freezes over, Mille Lacs, everybody wants to get to those spots because the homebody fish that live on those spots bite like crazy. So the first person to crack open maybe a sandbar that tops out, at 15 to 17, surrounded by deep water, that is going to be a phenomenal bite, and you hear it all the time. And then if they have friends that go the next day, it's terrible. And then after that, less and less. So you catch them. Some spots don't reload like others, but if you find that spot that reloads every day, you have paradise. You have what you call your new favorite spot.
Yeah.
So, and Sam, you've fished quite a bit all over the place. You ever find a spot that reloads nonstop?
I don't know if I fish, I'm not guiding like you, so I'm not out there every day. There's definitely hot spots out there, I would say, but I think, especially early season, it's if you can find fresh water, that's always gonna be the best. Less pressure is always gonna be the best. There are those magic spots that reload, but I still like to look for fresh. That's my go-to. So,
well, and here's the thing: as a guide and being on the water and razoring holes day after day. See, when I set up the clients, I'll set them up in a house, or a couple houses, whatever. How many? And I don't take too many. I'm a one-man band. If anybody wants to come help me drill holes, I'll definitely hire you. But I am a one-man band, and I drill all day. So I find strange things. And one thing that I find that changes everything is if you find a steep break on an isolated piece of structure in a lake or a shoreline connected flat, on those edges, if you find bait fish balls and they last into early ice, you're going to have incredible amount of walleye traffic going through those areas. If there's a lot of bait fish balls, if there's no bait, you're not finding bait, you need to get out of there. And that's one thing I have found where clients can't even see the bottom because there's so many minnows. They're just a cloud. And there'll be a space in the cloud and there's a walleye there.
They're not dumb. They're not dumb. Their life revolves on opening their mouth and eating things. So they're going to do wherever that's the easiest and most prolific.
Well, and there's we got some more question here. If moving water stays open, is that a better to fish when it's frozen? We kind of target slack water. I stay away from any chance of going through. I like living, and I don't like to be uncomfortable. That water under the ice, right under the ice, is just right above freezing, like a degree. The bottom is warm, but if you're at the bottom, you're in the wrong part of the ice. So don't go through. Stay away from current. And some of the flowages we fish have very little current, but even minute current. There's there's several popular flowages here that if you're in the wrong spot on that flowage, it'll go from 10 inches of ice down to 6 or 8 inches of ice, or when other areas are 18, it'll still be 8 or 10. So you got to drill. And I see it every winter. Sam, you see it too. There's people that don't drill and check the ice. they'll see a truck out there and they just start driving anywhere. Don't be lazy. Lazy could cost you a lot of money because if you're getting your truck pulled out of the ice or your four-wheeler or snowmobile is not worth it. There are businesses that will pull it out, but you better have cash or credit right there. And I don't want to see anybody go through. There's no reason to go through. So
I asked my insurance company about it once, and I think they said we pay for it once, but after that you're on your own. And it was like, okay, let's just not get to that situation. So.
No, and then avoid emergent vegetation, early ice, whether you're walking or later on when the ice is really thick. If there's emergent vegetation, it traps snow, like bulrushes, maiden cane, anything sticking up through the ice traps snow. So there's one similarity between everything on ice. If there's trapped snow, it's not going to freeze as good because snow is a great insulator. But great. And so let me do a reminder here, everybody. We have a great giveaway tonight. And I just want to talk about this prize pack. It's the Bro Ice Kit for early ice. And we have a little bit of everything. We have tungsten spoons. We've got twitching puppets. We've got thumper spoons, buckshot, and look at all that tungsten. There's panfish stuff there and styling, really cool, elite, pro-looking hat. Somebody's going to win that along with a razor auger, and this is a 4-inch scout for searching, drilling holes, finding your spots, dropping a camera, spying on fish, dropping a transducer, or just perch fish with it, but that's a 4-inch scout. I can't fit my transducer in there, but I might use it to check the ice. So those are given away at the end of the show.
Speaking of transducer, someone asked, does anyone use a flasher anymore? I think the answer is whether flasher or small LCD sonar, it's still nice to have a down unit. I think just something light and mobile to move around.
I do have a Humminbird Ice 55. I keep it every year, and I'll have it with. It's kind of fun to, just play around with it. It's a little bit of like going back in time, and but that Humminbird Ice 55, flawless. It's just an amazing thing, and I would have to use it.
Like just to have something, whether it's a Helix 7 or a 5 or a nice 55, to have that in unison with your forward facing. I rarely just bring my forward facing. Sometimes I just fish with it if it fishes right, but it's nice to have those two units. That way you can drill a hole for the forward facing and then chase with your down unit. So
yeah, and I that question we had when I'm targeting panfish early ice, do I like using plastics? I love using plastics on spoons, but I'll also use it on like a little gill getter. I'll use it on a flat fry jig, which is tungsten, got the little eyeball. So plastics on any of this stuff would work, but doesn't mean you can't throw waxy on there. Mash a waxy on there. The nice thing about wax worms, and all your tournament ice anglers know this, it makes a mess in the water. There's clouds, and you can't really got to remember you can't chum the water. But if a little bit of stuff falls off a waxworm, I don't think that's considered chumming. But waxworms make a smell in the area, and they keep the panfish around, the perch around. So that's a great question. And so here's great. There's still people like flashers. I love my Humminbird Explorer. I used it last year. You could see everything. You could see insects in the water. If you look on some of my stuff from last winter, I catch a lot of crappies. You'll see insects swimming by, a lot of backstroke beetles, bloodworms, and then at night, the zooplankton comes in, and you could adjust your screen so you don't see that stuff, and you can see crappies. But forward viewing, you'll see stuff where people are chasing fish. I still like to fish. If you're going to chase around a pot of fish, it's there's times when you don't really have to. going fishing big, expansive lakes like Red Lake. People are chasing fish around. I was on the chase. We're chasing crappies around up there. And then where Heather's sitting where we started, she goes, I got another one. And then we start running around chasing the crappies. Then we come back because she's catching them. Then we're chasing them again. And she goes, I got some more over here. And she never moved. She caught her fish before anybody else.
Seen that time and time again where the people who stay still catch just as many as the people chasing and drilling holes. Now there's flip side of that too, where sometimes you can chase and never catch one, and there's sometimes you can sit in one spot and you'll never catch them. It's definitely a beneficial tool, but you got to be smart how you use it because it can go both ways. That's for sure.
Well, just be ready to razor some holes if you do that game up there, wherever you're at. If you are chasing them on the big, shallower lakes, I mean, deep water, they're 16 feet, and you're chasing these big crappies. But when you find them and you can get above them, you could drop down a buckshot without any bait on, and they'll hit it, and you rattle it, and they just grab it. What are your thoughts, Sam, on the hook setters being legal? The jawjacker type of stuff.
Oh yeah, I thought I saw something. Did Minnesota make that legal? No,
I think it did, but I've never used them, so
I've never used them either. I mean, I think overall it's going to be good for the fish, right? Because the flip side of that is the fish just swallows the bait. So I think it'll be interesting. I've always seen them use them for trout and the Great Lakes and stuff, and it's always intrigued me, but I've never used one personally. And like I said, I can't imagine it will do that much more harm than good. So,
well, yeah. And so, wanted me to compare different auger companies. The augers they mentioned, I've never used them. I originally, way back when, I had Strike Master and I ran those, power augers, and then I've had Nils Master, and now I'm using Razor because it's simple. It's super affordable. I mean, you're just buying the bottom, and then you got a tool in the garage you can use year round. So you got the Razor, and then you get a DeWalt or Milwaukee, and that is the way that everybody's going. They're all doing that. You don't need a power head that's sitting in your garage all year. You look at the power head, the augers with the power head, no one's doing it. They're getting something you can use for 2 seasons with a Razor on it. And then someone wanted to know, when fishing weeds, how shallow do you work without spooking fish? Weeds help you. Don't you agree, Sam? If there's weeds, canopy, they'll hold it.
Shadows, and you still, usually the weeds are shallow enough where you can't be crunchy on top of the ice. But if you're able to camp out, I think the weeds definitely help you. You blend in and the fish feel comfortable in them. So,
well, and you don't want to stomp around, and we always fish pillows of snow. So even if you don't have a lot of snow and you got bare ice, there's always little snow pillows that appear all over the lake, whether, ice cracks at night, even light ice cracks at night. So if you don't have any snow on it, you could see a crack. And by looking at the crack, you can see how thick the ice is. So there's a lot of reading going on. If you don't know ice, well, study it before you go. Study online ice safety, but go with someone that knows it. So we're drilling, we're measuring, we're looking at the cracks on the ice. If they change in thickness, because they're white, then you can see how thick they are. But if there's snow, you don't get to do that. So, but the important thing is when they crack, water seeps up, snow sticks to it, and then you got a pillow forming. But when the ice cracks, it's forming because it's expanding, and that's why there's cracks. It's not unsafe. It's not gonna break right there. It's gonna seal up again, just like it was glued back together. And so if it didn't crack, it probably just smash our shorelines up, because ice it's expanding water. It's so look that up. It's very interesting. But let's see. Do we got any more questions before we go?
Someone asked about drills. And Nick's not here to say, but I believe he recommends anything 18 volts or bigger. And then I would say you have to get a brushless model.
Brushless and a half-inch hammer drill.
Yep, half inch. Yep, and you don't need the hammer settings, but you need the brushless and the half inch to obviously be able to fit on the bit, and then a brushed, an older brush style motor, you'll just burn up in a year or two. But those new brushless motors, I bought my first one probably like 5 or 6 years ago now, and it's still going strong, and I've never had any issues with it. So
yeah, and I use it every day. I mean, and then if you get an emergency, you're on a lake, you need a drill, you take that off and you put your drill bits in there. You know what I mean? So, and then Craig Dickmeyer,
well, the hub house adapters to put in your ice anchors and all that.
Yeah. That makes a difference. And I hope you're getting ready to go ice fishing, Craig. Twitch and Puppet for the win. I agree with you. And then are using are actually use tip ups and wood pound braid. I'm using iFish Pro tip ups because it's a rod holder, and instead of having line all over the ice, which I did that when I was a kid, I want to reel in the fish. You fight the fish, so that's the whole reason is to not have line. You could just reel your fish in, and if the fish runs, you got drag. And setting the line over each other, making loops for the tip up to run. There's a time for tip ups when I'm fishing really big pike, but now with big pike, you can use an iFish Pro tip up, put the rod in, leave the bail open, put a rubber band if you want something to hold it shut, and when the fish hits, it pulls the line out of the rubber band, leaves the bail open. So that's kind of what we do right there. And someone was talking about drills. Milwaukee's great. DeWalt's great. The one reason I'm showing you a DeWalt is the Milwaukee has a little pinch area that holds the handle on. It's not, these drills aren't designed for ice fishing. And they got this little pinch thing. Just about everybody I know has knocked that handle off. This is why I do it. Look where that is. It's way up on the drill. That never comes off. And I'm telling you, if that's why I use that. I still have Milwaukee's I've used lately, but need a different handle because they're people, you give it to the wrong person, they just knock it off because you can't lean on that handle. It comes right off the drill. And so, but that Milwaukee at the bottom of the hole really pushes through. So they each have their values. So remember that. But when you do,
I always heard too that Milwaukee was really good about rebuilding them if they do blow up. But like I said, I've had my DeWalt. It's never had an issue, so I don't know. But I think the DeWalts, you can get them repaired as well. But
yeah, absolutely. And so I want to tell everybody, if you're going to a show or if you don't get to go to the show, to power, forward facing sonar, or if you're not using forward facing sonar, anything, you never die. I got these amped batteries, and they're just, this is spectacular. So lithium batteries came way down, and these weigh like nothing. I mean, they're so light, and you just got to be able to fit it in your shuttle. The shuttle's what you put your sonar on. My Humminbird Explorer's on a shuttle, and this goes in it, and that will last you forever. And so Amped Outdoors has really changed lithium batteries, and they got them for open water. But ice fishing, they are the dominant one in our area. Everybody I see, they got Amped. So make sure to check it out. A 32 amp hour, 12 volt battery is going to rock and roll and take care of you. But they got super giant ones too that if you're going to be out ice fishing for a couple of days, lake trout or something, you can get those too. But whatever you want. And, as far as a 50 amp hour, I do have a 50 amp hour battery. I'm showing the 32 is one of their most popular seller. If you're using a big screen on your shuttle, if you've got a Humminbird 12 Explorer or whatever you use with a big screen, that's going to draw more. So maybe you could do that. And what
how
a
much
great
bigger is the 50? I have a 32, and then I have a 60 that runs a little trolling motor, but the 60 is significantly bigger. A bigger battery, and like I said, I got a 10-inch screen, and that thing will run it for like a day and a half. I'm not always good at remembering to charge my batteries, but you can run a 10 for like an 8 to 10 hour day and then another 4 hour day after that. So,
well, here's the thing too, and Daryl, good question. I always use loop knots on my ice tackle. You get more action out of it, and your lure tips and tumbles, and I think it's kind of an important knot for everybody to learn on the ice. If you're cinching it tight, you're not going to get the action like I'm getting with that thing. That's really, well, I just pulled it off, but anyway, yeah, definitely loop knot. And another important thing is when you're just a little toboggan of some kind in a bucket and early ice, and use your feet. But cleats are important. Make sure you got cleats. If you got kids, you're taking kids out so they don't slip. You can get a really hard hit on your head, get a concussion. It happens when you least expect it. So put cleats on. You ain't going to have that happen, except once in a while I'll throw a cleat off as I'm walking, stuff. But and that's about, all you really need. Scoops. I mean, we use scoops still to scoop out slush, but Sam, I don't really even use scoops. I drill, the razor flushes all the stuff out, and I like a little messy. I like a messy hole full of slush. I just do. So less light penetration. You got to remember that all these holes on the ice are like big light beams coming down. So treat it like the fish are aware. They're not. They're just, a little thing down there that eats another small little thing. So you just want to make sure you don't drill out an area too much. Meticulously open up spots. You're going to catch way more fish. Find snowbanks. And if you find a good spot full of fish with snowbanks and vegetation and big, beautiful fish, you might find Sam and myself there.
You might. Might. Where the fish are bigger and bite more often, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the case. And a lot of cool things to look at, twitch and puppet, some of the different I don't bring like everything known to human beings on Earth. I bring a small smattering of stuff, but I like to have different things. I really like this purple with the antifreeze back. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Some great colors there from Northland, and of course everything. You don't want to be reincarnated as a perch, because if you're a perch, you're on everybody's hit list.
Yeah, you're on the bottom of the food chain there.
You are. Make sure you bring perch patterns, because they're going to snarf. I mean, look how tiny that thing is. I mean, that's a little tiny thumper spoon, so that's good for crappies and perch. But I mean, I'm not afraid to use big spoons for perch. When you're on, some of these perch lakes, just remember the big, gigantic perch fishery that's shallow, full of weeds. We know those lakes that are like that. You could use that. You could use a big old red and glow thumper spoon, and they're going to just inhale that thing. And you could use bright colors. On other lakes, so you're going to use that, maybe on your Leech or Lake of the Woods. But on other lakes, you're going to use, one like this. You're going to use a subtle one. I get no fingernails. A little one like that. If you're on a lake, that's got clear water. Every lake's got a different personality, and you gotta jig to that personality. And I see it. I'm washing lures all the time, but I give the clients what they need to get going. And so I just want to tell everybody, we're going to be giving away a prize pack here, a Bro Ice Kit from Northland Tackle. And here it is. Let's look at it here. This is tungsten lures. Beautiful. Look at the hat. You are a pro. Wear that hat. Get some pictures. Grip and grin. That's going to be on fire. There's a twitch and puppet. There's all kinds. There's a big and little twitch and puppet. There's thumper spoons. There's tungsten and all this stuff. And everything you see here, you could buy at Timberline Sports. And so just remember that all this exists over there. And the Razor Auger, the 4-inch Scout for checking holes, for fishing with just, if you're going to use just a Ice 55 or a Helix with a regular transducer, no problem perch fishing with this thing. Great auger. And they use the 4-inch drills to scout and drill on their way out. An amazing drill, or you can fish with it. So rounding it out and getting close to the end, black is another color, and you can see it right there with the little eyes. These are cool lures. This is a Crappie King lure. They make them all different sizes. It's about having a small box with the stuff you need. So I got this little box here that fits in my pocket, amply loaded. I don't know how many of these I've lost in my life. I'm sure I reverse lose the lottery and they win the lottery behind me. But, so I got those kind of boxes, and I really like these little compartmented boxes here. So I've got the Siwash open eye hook and a handful, because I don't want to be putting that stuff together on the ice. And that thing just fits in my pocket, and that's all you need. When I'm out on the ice, a lot of times you'll see me using just woolly half finger gloves. Fish Monkey. I like this because it's not that cold sometimes, early ice, and wool is a natural warming fiber.
The woolies are like my favorite do everything gloves. They're my quick go to shovel, light ice fishing, get work done. They stay warm when they get wet. Just a good solid glove.
And it's got the monkey on the palm. Nice palms, PVC grip. This is great. And, this is all a person needs. And for hunting, they got the green camo, which is a solid green, and the deer aren't going to see it. But there are times when I am using a set line, I always have some pink hooks ready to go. Gamakatsu, octopus. This is a drop shot hook. I really love it. And then I wear, you can see right now, what am I wearing? My AFCO hoodie. This is the Reaper hoodie. I have them with the face guards right here, so you can flip them over. I don't even want to do that now. I'd be sweating on TV here. So, but the AFCO hoodie, any old pair of bibs, and give me this. I'm ready to roll. And because I move a lot, so I'm drilling holes in early ice. Get on your phone, order One Boat Network. I'll show you what that looks like here. There's One Boat Network. Order that up, and it has all these different features here, so I can go and find spots. It's got satellite view, so I can
zoom out a little bit more so we can see some of your spots.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Well, there we go, right there. Look at the lakes. You can figure out what's what. You can highlight them your way.
Relining that now,
and so there's everything you need to get going. Some cool little lakes. And we're getting close to the end here. Oh, so, Sam, do we have a winner? Brooke, we're going to give away the prize pack right now. Drum roll, please.
Yep. Drum roll. Brooke picked out the winner, and it's going to be Steve Miller.
So, Steve Miller, you are the grand prize winner. Please text. Congratulations, but please text me your address when you get a chance so we could send you your prizes. You're ready to go ice fishing, man, with the Bro Ice Kit. And Sam, I want to thank you for being out there. And before I go, I want to thank Chesterburg Toyota for being a major part of this on-air broadcast. Go to Chesterburg, buy a brand new truck, the best in the business, Toyota. They're solid gold. Go get a Toyota. Go get your oil changed. Go have a coffee and say hi to Brian and the gang. Chesterburg Toyota. They just rock. And then Timberline Sports in Black Duck. Don't go to Lake of the Woods. Don't go to Red Lake without stopping at Timberline Sports. Or if you're fishing as what they call the perch or crappie triangle up here, make sure to stop at Timberline. They've got all the stuff we showed you and more. You can get a pizza. You can go ice fishing. You can buy a gun. You can buy bullets. Just stop in and say hi to Carl and the gang. Timberline Sports in Black Duck, one of the best shops in northern Minnesota. And, of course, Sam, my co-host. And, Sam, you're getting really busy now. Are you going to be able to join us again?
I would say I hope to be on maybe once here and there, but I will not be the weekly co-host anymore. Some of you know I'm off doing my own thing, running my own business now. Still working a lot in the fishing industry. But with that, I've just gotten busier. So Bro's going to need to pick up the slack a little bit and run it. But it's been awesome. Well, I think this is the 5th year we've done this or whatnot.
Yeah.
So the last 4 have been great. I've been happy to be a part of it. I'm definitely going to miss you guys every week, but it's been fun.
I'm not going to miss you. I thought about firing you a long time ago. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. It's been fun, Sam, but you know what? He's still going to come back as a guest, and I'm still going to fish with him. The guy's busy. I mean, when he's not arrowing deer and he's not painting the new stamp for fishing and hunting, the guy is busy with his own business. But you're going to see me, and tune in next week for another Ice Edition. And I want to thank Brooke and my creative marketing Retro Heather for helping out with everything. And follow, there's a lot of good things to come every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, the Bro Roadshow Ice Edition. We will see you next week.